Beautiful people, it's your boy Nate Jackson. It's another episode of Opinionated, and let's get into it because it is going down. There's a lot going on. New York was exciting. New York was a movie. Your boy is now into Legos. That's happening. But we did Breakfast Club. We also did Rory and Mal's podcast, and I'm glad we did it. I had to go straight to New York from Montreal, California, where I accepted the Variety's top 10 comics to watch for 2025, and it's been a whirlwind really since the Netflix special aired. So I don't want to make it like a chest beating, hip hip hooray for myself, or I'm just talking about myself a lot. But I just want you guys to know, like, the dynamic at Breakfast Club was fire, right? Like, it really was lit. Like, I was able to share a story with Charlemagne that it's the thing. When you meet people where their station in life is they meet a lot of people, it's safe to assume they don't remember you. Just assume that. Don't be the cornball that's like, do you remember me? Do you remember my name? What's the point of the pop quiz? One, I actually might because I have a great memory like that. But two, like, what do you prove? Like, all you're doing is risking not being known. Let's just talk, assume that I do. But I didn't want to do that for Charlemagne. And I'm glad I didn't because it seemed as if he was just conducting the meeting, or it felt like a meeting. If he was conducting the interview, it felt like a meeting. He literally was like, let me just do my job right quick. I got to pay the bills. I got to interview who they got me up in here interviewing. And once I started talking to him about Hip Hop Squares and how I was the crowd warm up and how he told me to, keep going, keep my head down and focus and knock it out. And how he saw himself in me, but he saw it because he was, working under Wendy Williams and stuff. We then had a rapport established. And that having a rapport on the show you're with the guest who's meeting you from Adam and talking to you and trying to act like, like you guys are longtime friends is different than when they just flat out like have a new understanding, a new respect for you as a person, right? Like gives you a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt, gives you a little bit more cushion to fuck around. Like in this case, when I said that, there's only 3 of them. When it started, Envy wasn't in the room. And I didn't know this at the time, but my boy CT called me and he was like, yo, you had them laughing so much, Envy came into the room. And I was like, what's that mean? He was like, dog, he does not do all the interviews. When there's comics, Envy just be out the room. So the noise from the studio, apparently, in CT's perception of it, is what Envy was like, fuck going on in there? And then came in to be like, oh, this one's gonna be a good one. So then we hit it off. And then it went from feeling like a meeting into feeling like 3 longtime friends just chopping it up, right? And that organic tone to it, that feel is like the sweet spot to really like have fun and to talk about stuff. And what you saw with all the laughing and running around and playing was exactly that. Like there's 3 of them on the show, Envy, Charlemagne, Jess Hilarious. Me and Jess go back already. So having built rapport with Charlemagne made it a 2v1 game. And then Lauren, who was on the show, a part of the show and all that, but she goes into the other room for the talent. We got so cool that we were making inside jokes about her. I didn't even know what the joke was. I'm just clowning. And then I hit one and Charlemagne exploded. If you watch it and you watch it back, watch that moment where he's laughing, but it's like a bigger laugh than that particular moment. So then I'm like, you can see me reading his face to see what took it from a level 5 laugh to a level 8, where I'm like, what? I'm kind of reading him. Then he explains it like, oh, there's somebody back there. She ain't got no daddy. And I had just finished talking about that. So then it was like, oh man, I feel bad because I done walked into, now we roasting her about not having no dad. And I don't know if her dad's alive. I don't know. Like that's a slippery slope. That's some thin ice to be on. But we'd already gotten so cool that we were just gelling. Like some of the comments are like, yo, you should be added to this show. Somebody else was like, there's no way this is his first time on the show. Like they clicked up like they've been friends for a long ass time. And then there was a respect there once we got to talking about all the new credits and things. When I say that, I'm talking about how Netflix was in the top 10 for like 7 or 8 days, peaked at number 3, and is doing massive numbers like double platinum, fantastic record-breaking numbers on the platform, leading into The Office spinoff, The Paper, coming out on September 4th, and then the movie Aziz Ansari's directorial debut with Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, Keke Palmer, and again Aziz Ansari, and that comes out in October, and it's called Good Fortune. And the trailer for Good Fortune came out and went around the world 3 times with millions and millions of views. So when we got to talking about that stuff, like Jess was like, "What else you like? What do you got coming up? Where we like let's work together, let's act." Like she, like you know what I'm saying, shooting her professional shot, not on some trying to holler, but like hey man, let's synergize, let's see what we can do, and that's powerful. You know, especially on a platform that big. There's a lot of people that have hit me like, oh my God, Breakfast Club. Like for them, that was the tipping point to be like, nigga, you made it. Right? Not like, oh, I have a movie, because they ain't seen that yet. Some people gotta see it to believe it. Not, oh, your Netflix special. Oh, you know, maybe they saw the trailer and was like, oh, you got one, cool pick. And then they still haven't sat down to make time to watch it, even though millions have. There's a certain type of person that's like, I already know this nigga. I'm not finna watch that shit until it's convenient for me to watch. But that's like everyone I've touched prior to the pop. You know, people put you in a box, and so we not in the box no more. We done came up out the box, elbows, bone crusher video, and tore the roof up off this thing, and ain't no going back. So all these people asking for pictures and stopping me places and all that, I just got to get accustomed to it. It's new, and I can, I don't get to be like, man, no, I'm cool, or I wish it wasn't like that. Like I've done the work, we've now tipped the scale. It is what it is. But Breakfast Club was definitively a moment for people that was a big needle push to be like, oh my God, like literally the messages coming to my DMs and people that were resharing the story was like, this nigga is on Breakfast Club. Like Nate done made it. And that's a testament to them having high quality guests, right? However they vet their guests, it's all celebrities, it's all political figures. And so for me to go into that space, it's a wonderful position to be in the zeitgeist. And I'm going to continue to be in it. So get familiar. The zeitgeist and me are getting along just fine. What I'm finding, to be honest with you, is that maneuvering in those spaces, it is a skill set. You have like interviewing and being able to balance the energy and manage the conversations and get to everything that's asked of you is like that's a skill set. Like you got to work that muscle, and I'm having a ball doing so. But I found personally that it is easier for me than I would have expected going into this space. What's harder is getting into the room, getting everything set up, knocking down the pins that need to be knocked down, crossing the T's and dotting the I's to be the guest that's on the show. Once I'm in the room, let's chop it up. Whether it's Bert Kreischer, whether it's Felipe Esparza, whether that's Rory and Mal, whether that is Mario Lopez, whether that's the LA Times, whether that is the Breakfast Club, like I'm not coming out of these or feeling like there's parts of these interactions where I'm overwhelmed or that are surreal or that are going over my head. So in a sense, I feel like I belong.
Was there something that they asked you that you were surprised, or was there something that you wish they would have got into, or like?
No, it was refreshing that they weren't like, how'd you start comedy? Like that wasn't in it. And then like I'd say about 2/5 of the way through, Charlemagne asked me something. I was like, you guys realize this is really good, right? Like you guys are really good. Because I was in there looking and I didn't see notes. I didn't see, sticky notes on, a laptop was open or whatever. But I also watched the show before I was on the set. And so I watched to see like what they were talking about. I wanted to see the vibe. Like if you saw the behind the scenes stuff, the stories that we shared where like Sue Robb was with us and she was taking behind the scenes footage, I was in the pre-show green room. I was watching them. I want to see like what their energy is, what's their attitudes on, like do they have notes? Are they looking at something? And it really looked like Jess was just telling Charlemagne stories and they were cracking up laughing and Envy was fucking with his phone. And so by the time when I came in and the questions were actually poignant and strong and good and solid, I was like, this shit is a relief, There's also a moment where Charlamagne asked me a 2-part question, and after I answered the first part, Jess asked me one question. And then just for the sake of organizing my responses, I was like, give me just a second and I will get to that question, but I want to finish answering Charlamagne.
I remember that part.
I don't know how else you can, there's no other way to show, like that's conducting court. You know what I mean? I had the floor and I didn't let no one down when that answer's coming in, and I'm managing the expectations of the questions and making sure that, I don't want to see comments later where they're like, you didn't answer the second half of Charlamagne's because he never got to it, right? And maybe that's on the second host for piling on and asking in the middle of a 2-part question. Or I also just flat out at one point admitted, like, I don't remember what the question was. And they're like, oh, we were talking about bubble. I'm like, bet, because you guys are quadruple stacking stuff. And then there was a whole nother layer of like, poking fun vicariously at Gary. And at one point, Charlamagne just flat out made up some shit. I was taking off my jacket when he said, I was like, what? Who said that? He's like, Gary. I said, that sounds made up. He's like, what? I said, that sounds made up. He's like, it is. I made that up right now. I'm like, yeah, because if you understand how complex doing good crowd work is, nobody, especially Gary, who's now doing it a lot, is going to be like, yeah, I heard it's lazy. I heard it's like, no, that doesn't even make sense. That sounded super made up. You know what I mean? And I've had enough conversations, and I know me. I know what I'm doing on stage. I've done comedy 24 years. I know what's easier. It is much easier, trust me, for me to go on stage and say the same jokes over and over again. That's lazy. It's easy. If I'm doing that, then I must have several other business enterprises that don't require my time, or that's where I'm spending all my energy, because I ain't got no time to write no jokes at all. I can't even make up nothing. I can't get off my set list, and I'm in my 10th year of doing the same set. It sounds preposterous to even say, but as a comedy club owner and an act that travel with headliners and have been on TV shows and all that, I watch guys do their set and be like, that's my bread and butter. I did a show in Washington, D.C. It was one of those multi-lineup shows. I'm not going to name the comic out of respect, but there was an OG, right? Like somebody who spent a lot of time on TV a very long time ago, and at that time was a household name. And we did the show, and I, as a kid, remember watching that person perform, and I'm talking word for word. It's 28 to 30 years later, and the same exact set comes out. They had a great set. That crowd loved it. Whoop-de-woo. I'm going back on stage. They're passing me on the way off and lean over and go, that set right there is how I made all my money right there, baby. With confidence. I'm like, Lord, have mercy. So that's easier. It's easier for me to write a joke 5 years ago, polish it, and then go on stage and do that joke over and over and over and over and over and over and over. I know what I'm going to say in 2 minutes. I know where the laugh's going to be. I know where that's easier than just being like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just open this bitch up and see what's in it. Let's see what's going on. Like I'm letting other people have literally the power and the control to fuck with the flow of the show. Way easier. I could just get up and do a mirror set or a closet set or whatever, where somebody just is at home practicing in the mirror. The crowd doesn't even matter. Just doing my set. Just saying my shit and waiting in the spots where I'm used to waiting, where I get a laugh. That shit is so lazy and it's easy. So anybody that knows that as a stand-up or even tries to be like, talk some shit about somebody who's doing good crowd work, miss me with that. Miss me with that, please. Also, it's high time people saw what it was for what it is. Because we're running hot over here in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Like the internet is a great place for us right now. Netflix is a great place for us right now. Things are going good. The road is a great place for us right now. When I say us, I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about me, Trent, BT, Kanisha, Sue Ra, the whole squad. We out here. We're fucking them up out here. And we're building. Shit. This is a new set. Apparently the other one looked like a fucking circus tent. Fuck everybody that was a yes man. Don't tell me once I got paint in my hand that the other one was uglier than the motherfucker. Fuck all y'all.
I told you immediately.
You told me while the other paint was still drying, nigga. I was like, just let it finish. And then you were like, all right. You have a way of doing that. You have a way of saying a thing, Soto, and then being like, nigga, I said it. You know what Soto means?
Mm.
Yeah, I saw your body language shit. Like, what the fuck is a Soto? Soto is like a Latin term or an acting term for a throwaway line. Like if you're saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. That 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 was Soto. It's the throwaway line. It's the reason why people watch my special more than once to be like, nigga, I didn't even hear when he said that. Because my shit has this shit straight in front of you and then Soto lines all throughout that motherfucker. And so you be saying it where it's not the main thing that's being said. You might be like, I'm hungry as a motherfucker. This room's trash. Let's go get something to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
but then later you be like, I fucking told you.
Nah, I think it was more like, you know, it seems like you really into it, and because when you decide something, you just go. It happens. So I'm like, damn, you already painted up because I didn't see it until it was done, and you put all this hard work and effort and energy into it.
I'll say this, and this is worth you really hearing though, is that even though I'm strong-minded like that, once I trust somebody's input and opinion, I actually do hear it and will yield. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like I feel like you're like, he's so strong-minded, once that nigga, we might as well get out of the way and let it be what it is. That ain't the case. If you're like, I actually think, you know what I'm saying? Like you see what you said about the YouTube shit is now leaking into conversations with 3 Arts.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like you guys are either gonna fuck with me and let this world blend with your world and give the people what they want online with the long form content. I'll put commercials in it and say, go watch my Netflix special, or we'll fucking throw a lower thirds on that bitch where I'm in the corner pointing at the fucking Netflix logo being like, my special is now on, just like fucking TV. But to be like, no, he can't is crazy. You don't know what it makes. You're literally fucking with the income and revenue that I get from it. And if we're going to build a future for ourselves, then I have to have a strong platform online so that the next project, I'm already strong online. I know my numbers went down. My revenue got cut in half each month since I've listened to them say don't post. Revenue directly is related to views. That means my views were cut in half. And that was at a time where before that, every month was building by like a third of whatever it was. 750,000 people, and we were gaining 65,000 people a month. And now we're gaining 11,000 people a month. Like that's devastating to what's going on. It can't continue. So they either are gonna have to wake up and get with it, or I'm gonna have to show them, because and this is with the utmost respect for them as a business, for them as a conglomerate, as a platform, because I am not trying to burn no bridge. But you gotta understand how this is different than anything they've ever seen. There is 22 hours of crowd work joints on the internet, and they're all within the last year and a half. You've never put anybody on that platform that has that's doing that. Now that we are, the audaciousness to be like, don't post those no more, and ask me to not post for hella months is what, like you're getting me eaten alive online. The people who watch on YouTube, go watch on Netflix. The people who watch on Netflix, go look for more if they love you over on YouTube. It's a cycle of just steady feeding views to the Netflix special. Once somebody loves you, they want to see all of your shit. All of it. So it would behoove all of us to let me post and just like, let me turn the crowd work joints into, we'll run lower thirds, or I don't mind using the green screen and stand in front of that so I can literally pop up on the screen during the crowd work joint and just be pointing at the Netflix special. I'm sorry to interrupt the episode, but it's time to pay our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Zippix nicotine-infused toothpicks. Zippix brings you a totally satisfying, convenient, and great-tasting way to curb your nicotine cravings. Now you can get your nicotine fix anytime, anywhere, without having to rely on vaping or smoking. Zippix toothpicks give you an easier, better, and more discreet way to get your fix. Let's face it, kicking bad habits like vaping can really be tough. Zippix are a great tool to help you finally say goodbye to vaping for good. These toothpicks aren't just a great nicotine delivery device, but they also satisfy the hand-to-mouth habit. Mine is cinnamon. It's delicious. So any oral fixation commonly associated with smoking and vaping are nipped in the bud. They're available in 6 great long-lasting flavors, and they have options in 2 milligrams or 3 milligrams of nicotine. Zippix toothpicks are perfect for flights, sporting events, restaurants, and literally everywhere that smoking and vaping are banned. They're one of the most effective and cost-effective nicotine products on the market, and you're proudly made in the USA. If you're not a nicotine user, or you're just trying to get away from your nicotine habits, Zippix also offers caffeine and B12 infused toothpicks for quick energy boosts. Zippix have already helped hundreds of thousands of customers get their nicotine fix without needing to inhale smoke or vape oils. So what are you waiting for? Give your lungs a break and try Zippix nicotine infused toothpicks. Ditch the cigarettes, ditch the vapes, and get some nicotine infused toothpicks today. Only sold online at zippixtoothpicks.com. That's ZIPPIX toothpicks.com. Get 10% off your first order by using the code NATE at checkout. You must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix nicotine toothpicks. I got to interrupt the show to pay the sponsors. I do. You listen to this, it helps the whole thing. So join the fun on DraftKings Casino. Ranked the #1 casino online experience, they've got everything you've been searching for. Thousands of exciting games, huge jackpots, exclusive offers, and more. New players get a 10-day welcome offer. 500 spins on Huff and More Pup. Literally my favorite game. When you play just $5 to start. Download the DraftKings Casino app. Sign up with the code OPINION and spin your favorite slots. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for featured game only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. This ends August 24th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. #1 based on Eilers and Krejcik 2H24 product analysis.
I was thinking the same when you was reading those ads. I'm like, what if there was just an ad in between the crowd work?
There has to be. There has to be. Also, there should be one on the end of every fucking video that's going out.
Yeah. I think Netflix, they just aren't very, they're smart people. There's smart people over there. But when it comes to you, I just feel like they're just lumping you into other categories.
They're geniuses, but what's happening is exactly what you're saying. They are looking at it like a cookie cutter. Here's what we do. Here's how we do it. But I'm not. If I was, then my special wouldn't have done what my special did.
Right.
The numbers stand, the set speaks for itself. The numbers speak for itself. The following speaks for itself. Maybe we should look at this through a lens of let's just look at what we can do with Nate and how it benefits us to let this happen with Nate. The problem is, if I do anything different than what the standard is, that's now the standard, or people are asking to do the same shit I just did. And they don't have 22 hours of crowd work online. They don't have a year and a half of a chokehold on a type of comedy or stuff. They don't got that.
Yeah.
So as soon as I do it, it's like, boom. But my examples that I point at are other people that already said, let me just do my shit my way.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't good either. But I also see them, they aren't blackballed, or they haven't been smacked on the hand for being like, yo, I gotta do my shit. They haven't. But in my experience, whether it's historical or otherwise, I've always had to be very straight and narrow in this exact same scenario. Otherwise, I get the blunt of whatever the outcome bad is. And you're like, why didn't y'all do that to that person? Why am I the one that you want to make an example of? Whether it was teachers, vice principals, fucking bus drivers, it's always like, they did it, and they did. But when I do it, it's a goddamn problem. And that's just always been the way that it is. For me particularly. It's part of the defense mechanism that got me telling jokes any goddamn way. So This is no different than that. I would love more than anything a beautiful, strong relationship, synergy with Netflix to be like, hey, we have this beautiful idea, this dope concept. You guys got first right of refusal. Do you want to put some money behind this? Let's fucking go. And then it goes on the platform and it does what the special did because we only put out dope shit and we got the Midas touch. They win, we win, everybody wins. Everybody I can touch is guapping up and everybody's coming up bread-wise. That'd be dope. But if we're not going to have that relationship, then it needs to go to where the most people can just consume it for where they already are.
Because I don't think Netflix understood what your Netflix joints really were. I think in their heads, they're like, oh, these are just comedy specials. But you even say at the top of these recordings, this ain't a special.
This a joint.
They're more like, to me, they're more like shows. So that's like if Netflix was like, they're once a month, you were putting out a show, right? And then Netflix was like, ooh, put what you're doing, put your thing on Netflix. And then everybody's like, okay, cool, that was great, amazing. But then you like stopped the show. Like there's 3 more episodes ready to rock. But it's like, that's in my brain, that's what happened. It was like, there was this show, even though what you put on Netflix wasn't a joint, that was a special. There's material, well thought out jokes that were crafted. And then a small amount, what was it, maybe 10 minutes worth of crowd work?
Nah, there's like 17 minutes of crowd work.
But mostly material, like that's a special. The joints, they're not that. They're completely different things.
I'm not even looking for a certain level of excellence or a standard that I'm trying to uphold in funny on the crowd work joints. I am trying to talk about what's in front of me or what I've seen that day until I can't think of shit else to say. And that usually is an hour and 20 or whatever. And then we put out 45 to 55 minutes goes out. And that's different than a special. A special is what I was doing on the road. The special is the super funny comedy show that was on the road, which is now, it's already evolved because we filmed this at the end of January and I'd be tired of saying jokes after 2 months, 3 months. Like that closer got more burned than necessary, but it was fucking a really good closer. So I tried to use Denver to locate the new closer and let that come to me. It ain't happened. That closer was developed in Chicago during the 17 show run. We're going to Chicago again, and we're steady adding shows. So if that's the city that I get blessed with my closers in, then it is what it is. But I got to be able to be loose on stage and throw shit against the wall and be like, ooh, that was good. I think let me try that this next show. Where does it fall? Ooh, that was good. Let me move it earlier. Okay, it worked there. Let's see if it closes strong. If it closes strong, cool. How can I prop it up throughout the show to where they have no idea that the closer is going to bring it all together? That's all I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. And so since I'm still developing the first 20, 25 minutes, then how do I have a closer that strings all that together? Like this is the mind of the art. This is the art that this is. And if they don't understand that, it's nuts. Here's another epiphany. Not even an epiphany. This was some shit that was said to me that was full circle as fuck. And it was said to me and it kind of just washed over. But sometimes you wake up or you go to sleep and your mind is playing back the shit that happened through the night. Sometimes you're like, that was hella disrespectful that motherfucker said not cut. But this was like a good thing. So for this, I will say name. So Nick Brazow he's in charge of Just for Laughs now. For years, he was under Jeff Singer, who was in charge. He was like number 2, maybe number 3. I think Allison was in charge of New Faces. And so it was like Jeff, Nick, Allison did New Faces, and then they placed all the other comics and stuff. But Jeff Singer was the gatekeeper for what talent goes to Montreal on what showcases, flat out. Then his team would help procure talent. Nick is now in charge because Jeff has stepped away since, or got made to step away. I don't know. But when I was showcasing for it, they said I can't say the Bao Bao joke, the Vietnamese car dealer joke, which is fucking great. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Breakfast Club because I talk about it. But the full circle moment of it all is that whilst at Just for Laughs, he came up to me at the after party and he said, "Ma'am, I'm so glad that you were able to come. Congratulations on the award." And he was like, "You know what's a trip? I remember after you showcase and we shied away from the Vietnamese card dealer joke, your response was, 'Tell me what you want. Because whatever it is that you guys are looking for, I have it in my bag already. But you got me a 5 to 7 minute showcase and I'm trying to just give you what's killing at the time, not knowing that there's some red tape around a thing.' I'm like, this is comedy, baby. Anything I say is good. If it's killing, it's killing." And so it was a trip to me because I remember saying that to them. I'm like, what do you want? Like, just tell me what you want. It's not about, oh, this material and this is all I say. So if you don't like this material, then I don't get to go. That ain't even how I write jokes. It's about, do you want me to go? And what's the parameters of the set? I'll build that and that's what I'll kill with. Or I'll abandon it entirely and do whatever the fuck I feel when I walk out there. I'm leaving with a W. So the showcase to me was just me doing a few jokes for y'all to show you that I'm funny, that I'm like, tap me in, let me go up there. They're like, transcribe it, see if it steps on any toes. If it does, can't have them. Like, how you even know that's the fuck I was gonna say when I get up there? That's how I felt. So I was like, just tell me what you needed, bro. Like, I got it in the bag. I got hella jokes. What do you want me to say? And Zach was like, he has a lot of material, you guys. What is it that you like? It's you tell him show him the boundaries. And he'll walk within that. He might walk up to the line, but he won't cross it. If you felt like he went across with that joke, which we don't think he did. So for him to say, I remember you said, you just had a wealth of material. And if we just tell you what jokes that you would have rocked with that. I'm like, yeah, man, I've worked a very long time to be versatile and have a plethora of stuff to talk about. And if I don't have nothing to talk about, I've worked hard enough on my stage presence and my voice that we can talk about what I've seen or what's in front of me or what I've gone through that day or whatever. It could literally be, hey, here's what's outside this theater right now. Here's what I found funny. It could be, here's what I found funny in the country of Canada. It could be, here's what I've seen in Montreal today. It could be, here's what they tried to feed me. It could be any number of like all that. You can find comedy in everything. So just rule me out and be like, nah, he's going to say this one joke that might rub somebody. And it's like, yo, clap if you're Vietnamese. The room's quiet. Because how many goddamn Vietnamese are in Canada or in Montreal particularly? That there may be a full community. But the ones that are there would have responded the same way all the other Vietnamese do because they're Vietnamese before they are the country. They're going to laugh and have fun. I'm doing the joke. Motherfuckers punching each other. Literally like socking each other. And that was the girls. So what are we talking about? The people who said the joke was too much weren't even Vietnamese. It's rule number 3. Don't be offended on behalf of other people. Them people having fun. They paid extra money for this. And you over there like, ooh, I don't know about that one. That should affect them. So, and it's not to knock them because they do have a responsibility as the curators of an entire comedy festival to not bring somebody who walks the line or habitual where they can't predict the outcome that it may be. Like, that's their whole thing. Like, we just want to have good shows. We don't want to rub anybody wrong. We want to have fun. It's like, all right, fine. So I'm not knocking them, but it's just therein lies one of the spurs in my side of this path and this type of doing comedy. You know what I'm saying? If I was a set list comic that just stuck to my set list, then I would be like, hey, what do you guys want? Which they don't even tell people what they want. You go do a showcase trying to get on. They like you, maybe you get a call back or you get a couple callbacks, or if they already respect what you do and they're fans already, maybe you get a straight to callback audition. And that's for the brand news. OG comics just kind of get a call. You want to do a gala? You want to do whatever? You know what I mean? Because at that point, you already can do it. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Right? Mm-hmm. So I respect what they're doing. The thing, what I would like to know is what is the criteria for a new face? Because I never was a new face. What is and I can't go back and be one now, but what was the criteria? Well, what is it? Because when you go to Montreal and you watch a new faces showcase, some of the stuff that is getting said, you're like, you're telling me my joke was risque? And that made, like, It's just it could just be. It's. I'm not even gonna hold my tongue. It's fucking ridiculous. Some of the shit that makes it, and some of the shit that is like that whole person can't come. Not don't say that joke. What else do you have? As that was 1 minute of your 7 minutes. Do you have something else you can alt in there? Like what? So it was dope to be pulled to the side and told exactly that. Like to know that maybe more insight or more research, or now that there's 22 hours of material online, that they can be like, damn, he really does have a lot of shit, or he really can make some funny shit out of thin air, But that guy brought that up to me. I was just like, yo, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. He's like, you know what's crazy? So I'll take it as a good full circle moment. And yeah. Crazy. What the fuck?
Yeah. Did you I was just looking at the JFL, the list for this year, just to kind of see, what is the criteria, and like
there isn't none.
No.
For years it was make Jeff Singer laugh. And it was now it's make Nick Brazow laugh, or make Allison laugh, or make you gotta rock them. You gotta rock the gatekeeper. You gotta rock the person from said entity that's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Then you never know what the thing is. Maybe your hat's too low and they couldn't see your face. Maybe you fucking vaped on them outside on accident and didn't know it was them. Maybe, you know what I mean? It could be anything. Literally, it could be, how the fuck do we know? We don't know. All I know is ain't nobody got no motherfucking notes in their hand. At least Bob Sumner had notes. Goddamn. Bob had a way to score sets. And if you don't know who Bob Sumner is, he's the talent scout for Def Jam. He was Russell Simmons' right-hand man that went and procured all the talent that was on Def Jam. And Bob had a point system where he would score people 1 through 5, and then you could get a plus or a minus next to it. So it's really 15 grades you can get. And then he also had a star system on top of that. So you could get like a 4 with a minus, but still 2 stars. And like he had his whole thing. And it would be just like on a fucking wrinkly ass, tiny ass piece of paper, or like a hotel notepad piece of paper folded up, and he would track all of it. But at least he had that. I don't know what, I don't know if JFL is just like they actually go back and they watch, but who knows? I don't know. It would be cool to know like the process. Like, all right, we watch the showcase live. We see if it motivates us and moves us. I don't even know if they realize how stuffy and stiff and dry the showcase rooms are. Half of that shit is the agents. The other people standing around, comics, venue staff, like 4 or 5 random, like just regular people, fans that got the message. And you're putting all your dreams out in front of that like not realistic crowd. So I don't think they realize it. And to be honest with you, none of it translates to Montreal's audience. Yes, you can get your jokes to kill, you can do your thing, but showcasing in LA has that crowd that's going to see you, absolutely no relation to the crowd that's going to show up in Montreal going to the festival to see it. So, I don't want it to be a complaint session, because to be completely honest with you, I feel like we came, we saw, we conquered. As far as Montreal goes, we had 3 shows on a Friday night. I killed everything I touched. It turned into a smorgasbord of meetings. I've got 30 fucking meetings planned, ABC, NBC, FX, and da-da-da, like auditions out the yin yang, and big goddamn auditions, like the kind where your name is on the script. That way, if it gets out, yo ass can get in trouble type shit. Not just nigga number 2, but really like people's right-hand man. Like, we're not far from, if I lock one of these into, I'm a leading man in a major fucking film. And I have the chops to lead. I already know I do. I'm thoroughly trained through Leslie Kahn Acting Academy. I'm ready for whatever we're gonna do. So, and if not, then we'll fucking bring my acting coach back in and we'll get me ready for whatever the fuck it is. Trisha LaFlatch is ready to go. So it was a great Montreal. Montreal is back. For the comics wondering, Montreal is back. I do believe Montreal is back to where it was like, even without a show, even without being booked by JFL, fucking go. figure out how to just get your ass to the city. Maybe you can buy a fucking lanyard or I don't know if it's for purchase, but it's the type of thing where you can go and you can actually network and schmooze and grind. You could catch fucking your agent or your manager at the fucking restaurant. Everybody's walking all over the place, eating, fucking hungry, going in and out of hotels. You don't need a lanyard to be outside of a hotel passing out materials about yourself, passing out like, hey, I need a manager. What's going on? Hey, I got a show. Hey, check me out. I'm from Connecticut and I'm just out here trying to hustle. And I'm not a part of the festival, but I want to, boom. Like you can hit everybody that's going in and out that bitch. They got on their lanyards. You see a yellow lanyard, that's industry. You ain't got to wonder like every other showcase where you're like, I wonder how many of them was execs. Like not in Montreal, they got on a lanyard that says it. Is it yellow? That's who you need to be trying to get a hold of. You guys going to lunch? Hey, can I pick your brain? Like, you can hustle again. It was there. It was ripe for the getting. So people that had, like Trenton had a great vantage point, like coming and opening the shows and performing on all the shows and then getting to see it and all that. Like, don't get it twisted. People remember who was with who. Remember who was with who was funny, who held it down, and then they note it. The same way local people do. The same way Tacoma, Seattle be like, no, he be working with Nate. They on the road being like, oh, he be working with Nate. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good caveat to have. Because they know I'm not having just some bullshit out there with me. If you with me, then you can at least goddamn hold it down. We're putting out fucking phenomenal work. Phenomenal work. Phenomenal work. You know what I'm saying? And from one man that puts on 3 and 4 hats to do entertainment, you're handling putting on 2, 3 hats with grace phenomenally. You know what I'm saying? So they can see that kind of shit. All they gotta do is turn and look kind of close. Just kind of close. That's it. Also, did you look into how many people did you see with their team?
Not a lot.
No.
Not a lot.
Who did you see with their team?
I didn't see nobody.
Not agents, not just a manager, but a full team.
Yeah, especially, and I'm just gauging this from the top 10, variety top 10.
That's the rumor. If somebody had a team, they were going to have them.
Yeah, I didn't.
0. Nada. I didn't see a single other act at Montreal that brought their team and invested in the trip enough to be like, I don't give a fuck if I make a dime up this bitch. We're all going to see Montreal. We're all going to be all hands on deck. We're all going to be working. We're all going to have a presence. It comes together to all matters. It all matters in the grand scheme of things. Even if fucking Montreal doesn't exist after this year, all those people still do. All the relationships and anyone that saw you, all that, they still are there. They're still present. Do you know on my show, at the main show, my main show at the theater, do you remember the crowd when you perform?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the table closest to the stage, far left? It was like a chubby white girl and a brother.
No, I don't remember that table, but I definitely remember this group that was to the
with
left.
The bad bitches to the right of them with the red dress.
Yeah, like chains. Yeah, like chains.
Yeah, the dude with the chain. Yeah. Cool. So I don't know them, but the girl and the guy that I was talking about first, the girl was a fan. She's like, I love your stuff. I want to come to this. I call my homeboy up. I'm like, do you want to go to this? He was like, yeah, I fuck with him. Let me go. That's Abba and Preach. #1 YouTube channel in all of Canada where they just like literally take things that happen and they stand next to each other in this room with all the shit and they just like literally talk shit and have fun. But they do so many topical things. Like they'll talk 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. I don't think there's a full show anywhere. I think they just are literally like, hey, let's talk about that. And they have fun and they argue back and forth and they have moments on camera, just them two standing next, just two friends. #1 YouTube channel. And I don't know where it ranks in the States, but they're #1 in Canada for sure. He's like, yeah, this is where we're at. We're Montreal. I thought you guys were in Toronto or in Vancouver. He's like, no, Montreal. We're holding this motherfucker down too. He's sitting right there like, I'm a fan. So at the end of the show, him and her came all the way back around back to theater to chop it up with us to be like, man, thanks for. And I even gave a shout out. I said, watch my Netflix special, and after you're done watching that, if you still got time to watch something, go check out Abba and Preach on YouTube.
I did hear that. I remember that.
Yeah. And he was like,
Mhm.
ooh, because he didn't know I knew it was him. Feel me? Like because he had dreads and shaved them off. But nigga, your face is your face. So I said all of that. He came around the back and was like, nigga, wow. That was fantastic. Thank you for the love, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So you never know who's going to be in the room, especially at Montreal. At the after party, 2 execs from Fox came up. Just like, we were leaving. We just saw you get here. We came back before we left to say hello and speak and tell you that you were amazing tonight. I was like, thank you. I did 3 shows. Which show were you at? Talking about that last one just now? They're like, well, no, we were at Variety Top 10. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I went last at that. And 2 before me, the set wasn't popping. Like the girl ran easily 12 minutes over the light and was doing pedophile jokes that were all missing. So I was like, ooh, they played her off. The music came on. She didn't get to say thank you, good night. They were just like, and that's it. And the lady I was in the back waiting to go up. She's hitting the light like this, like just doing her own. She's doing her head like this with the light. Oh my God, we have other comics, another show after this. What the hell, golly? Like that's how she's flicking the light. Then she gets on her headset and she's like, after this next, when she wraps up this joke, play her off. She didn't finish. She just finished that joke and was like, so then I went, she's like, oh, thank y'all, I gotta go. Runs off, comes to the side. She's like, how long was I over? She was like, you did like 24 minutes on a fucking 7 to 8 minute showcase. What are you doing? I have a show after this. There's talent after you. You know what I'm saying? That's not as conducive as just like going number 5, going number 6 in that sweet spot where it's like, whoa. Showcases like that, number 4 or 5, hottest fish grease. Then it cools off a little bit. You can heat back up around 8, 9. And then somebody has a chance to close out and it goes strong again. But it's like this. It just is. And going first fucking sucks. They call it biting the bullet for a reason. So
I was really surprised to see that comic you're talking about do that, go over her set, because I'm really like about the business part of it, and especially in a situation like that, like your time, like look, we got 10 comics, everybody's doing 7, and then that's just what it is. And so running the light, stuff like that, I'm just like in my head, like when because Fred, a local comic out here, me and him were going back about that with the show that we hope. He's like, man, this is our show. We can go as long as we want. I'm like, nah, man. We should really work on. The show started at 7:30. We need to be wrapping this thing up by 9. Staff, the bar, like all those other individuals. Like
there's only one person that owns it and puts money into it and has to pay for things.
Yeah,
that can run the light because I know what it's worth for me to run the light.
Yeah,
Fred doing it is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I was just like, nah, this isn't. I get it, it's our show, but we can't just do whatever we want.
Don't fucking
man.
do that.
It's a time thing.
Fred, no.
The time. It's a show.
You ain't paying nobody.
Yeah.
If you were in charge and you were paying all the staff that's on the clock the way I am, that if the club can't pay for it, I do transfers into the account to float this whole motherfucker. Do what you got to do on stage. Do it. Right now, they were texting me to go to the club to go perform an open mic because some big ass group just showed up from Texas. They're like, yo, they're here. Their first round was like $80, and that's just their first round. They're about to really mad. Like, you want to come down and stretch and da-da-da-da-da? Like, first of all, I'm not free to see no more. Second, if I am going to be free to see, I'll be, it's not going to be on, it'll be on my own. Be like, fuck, I'm going to just go down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you caught me. Bet. Otherwise, go on the website like anybody else and you buy my ticket like a fucking headliner coming up. It's ridiculous. But if I was to go down there and stretch for said group, because they sent me a picture, it was packed, that would be my decision to be like, let me go longer so that we can make more money in this building. But if you don't have the fortitude to look around and be like, they ain't drinking no more, but I'm still going, like, you're only serving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're only serving yourself. Because now every server, let's say there's 6 of them, they're all going to be another half hour closing out. 6 of them, that's 3 more hours. You're not paying their wages. You're not paying, they didn't get no tip. You're not, then it has repercussions of attitude, of frustration, of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to go home. They got a babysitter. They got to pay another fucking half hour. They got to pay more. Like, it's just, It's nuts. They got husbands to get home to that they're expecting them around 11, and your ass on stage for an extra 20 minutes means they don't get home till 11:30. They're at home getting cussed the fuck out because you want to do 20 minutes. That's irresponsible. At least if I run the time, I'm like, and you're gonna be paid for it, I got you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or if they go home to their person, they're like, babe, I was coming home on time, and then Nate popped in and did a set. I don't give a fuck whose husband is in. They know it's my business to be like, all right, well, nigga, Nate did this shit. You know what I'm saying? They could even be like, man, fuck Nate. But at the end of the day, my name's on every check. Fred ain't paying. No, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. And that goes for any fucking headliner or any comic, not just Fred, but he's the house comic. So he for sure has to set the example to be like, let's respect the time. And to be telling you, hey man, let's fucking fuck the rules up is ridiculous.
And I don't want to put this like I'm calling Fred out because it's all Fred. Comics.
Fuck that shit, Fred.
Because it's really, I'm speaking to, because that gets on my nerves when it's any comedian who's just like oblivious of like the business part of it. Like, nah, man, we're not just up here just doing whatever it is. Like, there's a structure to this thing.
But
like
I don't know if that's a good thing that you do that. I don't know if that's because you're older, if you've always just been that kid that understands the macro, and now you're an adult and you're like, I kind of get my place in this big picture.
It's that, and then also going on the road with you. It's going to all these different clubs. It's seeing like there's a time frame for everything, and then there's penalties and consequences when it goes over.
Right.
You
and that if I decide to do it, it's handled differently than if anybody else decides to do it.
Correct.
Because it comes out of my expenses. If I be like, fuck it, I'm going to do 2 hours, nigga, I made that decision going, this going to cost me X amount of bucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Right when I finish, I'm already going to lose meet and greet option time. I'm going to lose merch option time because people are like, yo, I wanted to meet him, but shit, we got to go.
Right.
Like, I already know that, but I'm trying to give you more show. So that when you see my ticket go on sale again, it's like, that nigga be giving hella show. Hella show. And that, you know what? That shit is in the comments. Somebody without seeing me was like, man, all he does is sit down and talk shit. This shit ain't even funny. Somebody else goes, shut your dumb ass up. That nigga came to my city and he was on stage solid himself 2 hours. That whole motherfucking show was hilarious. Fuck what you talking about. You obviously haven't seen him. And then the next person was like, touche, I haven't. Maybe I got to step my shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I found a lot, like the haters that are in my comments, I don't have Delulu ones. I have ones that are ill-informed, then they get informed, then they bend. They're like, yeah, my bad, nigga, you got it.
Yeah, because if they actually watch you, like if they watched your special and was just like, nah, still trash. Well, then now it's like, well, then you're in this hater category, which is fine. But at least we know where to place you. Like, you've been informed, you've been educated, and you still on that.
I get not being for everybody. I'm not saying I ain't for everybody.
But I'm with you. But trash? That's what I mean. Like, the trash part.
That's delusion.
I can take like, he's a little too much, a little raunchy, whatever. But to say trash.
Nah. This was a good promo, good episode, good getting comfortable back in the new situation or just feeling comfortable on camera alone again. It's been a minute, and so we're back. Thanks for listening to the show. Look forward to seeing some clips that'll be coming out of this. We'll find something clip-worthy and get it out to you. Y'all be blessed. Peace.